Welcome back once again, Real People, Real Life, Wichita, Kansas.
America!
God, you guys are good. Okay, we're going to start from you. And everybody, once again, we're going to say our name. Stage names are fine. And just a little of, the organization that you're here with.
I'm Jason Platter with One Spark Foundation. We do acts of kindness, everything from working with the homeless to youth, just a little bit of everything one step at a time to make the world better.
Right on.
CEO Tone G of To The Death Records, here representing the movement and the Cracking Up.
Love it.
Pretty C, Cracking Up model, and also representation of the movement.
Petty Murphy, representing the movement and Cracking Up.
Antar Golar, representing ICT, RBG, Pan-African Organization.
Right on.
Abiana, I represent you guys. 316.
Ditto, Princess Mufasa, and I speak for the people.
She is the princess.
I know, right?
I'm sitting between the two of them, I guess. I'm a retired from self-employed businessman for years, and now doing what I love to do. I'm a member of the Kansas Ringmasters Clown Alley here in the vicinity, and I'm a member of the Kansas Writers Association. Love to do poetry and comedy.
Love it. Yeah.
We're going to talk after this is over.
Okay.
I know.
I am Ty McEwen. I am the Executive Director of Women to Women Ministries. However, most people know me in town as an activist, a community activist is what I'm known more for than for Women to Women. But I also sit on the committee for Juneteenth.
Yes, we're going to be getting to that in just a minute.
Mike Furchess, speaker, writer, author, recording artist, also operate and run Mosaic Wichita, and I'm a proud part of Real People, Real Life.
Love you, Mike. I'm Robin Lace. Hello. Media since I was born. Okay? Go ahead, honey.
I'm Grizzle. I represent the movement, WSUP Cut Up Game. I'm a local artist, and we're just trying to make everybody, see the movement is real. So we out here.
Love it.
Yeah, I go by the name Flick Drink. I'm repping the movement. Also, I'm repping Cracking Up, and also Die Young Familiar.
Say that name one more time.
Flick Drink.
Can you see? I really get excited when he does that. I don't know what it is. Okay, we decided that, we've got a lot of cool people here, fantastic organizations. I love the movement. I love everything that you guys are doing. But a lot of us, that are here in Wichita right now, we know how bad the weekend was here. There's really no excuse for what happened, and it wasn't just one incident. There was multiple incidences, and I don't even know if all of them made it to the news here. But sometimes we see things that are happening thanks to some of our friends' Facebook live feeds. Mm-hmm. I have a girlfriend that, bless her heart, she's another activist, and a lot of times she'll get those live feeds going from a robbery at an electronics store or whatever, because she's just there. So I know a lot of the things that do happen on the streets we don't know. Maybe some of us do know, or we were there, or we have family. But what happened over the weekend is just not acceptable. It's not right. Can somebody that's here in our group here tonight, can somebody kind of break down what did happen that has, a pretty good idea?
How about you?
So y'all just know I know what happened.
Well, we do know that. So.
Y'all just know that I'm going to know what happened.
I like that.
Let's hear it. You already know we know.
I'm going to start out first by saying yes. 5 people over this past weekend were victims of violence. 2 of the separate accounts included kids. And if you include the one that happened last weekend of the man who passed, that makes 6 within the past 6 days. One of the victim's family had a comment that she would like to give, and I would actually like to read it now.
Yes, please.
I'm going to skip down a little bit because I don't want to give too much information about it. But it says, the young lady who was killed was my relative. I'll leave it like that. And her parents, siblings, and all of their friends and relatives are in shock because this has happened. It is horrible to know that your loved one can be there one moment and gone the next because of a short temper and the availability of a gun. It shouldn't take something like this to happen to you before you are able to see there is a problem. I wouldn't wish this type of pain in my worst enemy. We need this to come together before this happens to someone else. Thank you.
Wow. Well, tell the family thank you, and they're in our prayers, and I hope that we can change this around before this weekend trend continues to get worse. So, again, I said let's not mention any of the victims' names and probably even their families. I know that there's some still at the hospital today, and their families are still there today. So
I want to ask her a question. You mentioned the availability of guns, but you know they have always been on the streets. But I have noticed this increase in gun activity, and Mike's pointed it out that this open carry has been enforced since the Wild West days. But since it's been brought to everyone's attention with the new passing of the law, it has. I feel like there's been a change. There's been a lot of gun violence.
I do too. I think actually we just sat, me, Jason, and Ed, had a conversation similar to this. You know, for one, like I said, it's kind of hard to blame the gun, you know, when it's the actions of the person who lead up to it. And regardless of, let's just be honest, some of these people are not even supposed to be legally in possession of a gun.
right.
You know, but at the same time, you know, the illegal gun trade is like the third top % of the GDP.
That's
so,
right.
I know.
I mean,
God.
and so it's kind of like,
It's gonna
you
be
know, and then we got a president who supports, you know, the NRA so toughly. I am a firm believer in the Second Amendment. I've never shot anybody. I have no reason not to own a gun. I actually like guns. But I would not go out at random and shoot into a basketball court full of kids.
Right.
I will not take it to the level of a domestic dispute and now my spouse is gone. You know, so I don't think it's necessarily more of asking, well, where are all these guns coming from? I think we need to be asking, well, what is going through your mind while you have this gun in your hand?
Right. It's a fair point that
Yeah.
our homes are filled with things we could use to murder
Absolutely.
ourselves
Exactly.
if we wanted to.
Exactly.
Our homes are filled with things.
It's the mindset of the people today. I had an opportunity to talk to a person who last year was involved in a murder on an outreach program, and his mindset, he said, it's like life is like a video game that we played. He says life doesn't matter to anybody. I go out and I shot somebody, so what? I mean, there's no remorse, there's no. But that's the mindset of a lot of them. The availability of the gun, they don't have the self-respect for other people, the self-respect for themselves now, to where life lost its value. It's just like killing a deer or anything else. They don't care about it. So until we change that mindset, we're going to continue to have the problem if it's guns, knives,
But
anything.
and I wonder how much do we contribute to that to an extent, though. I mean, I look at what's going on in Facebook and what's going on in social media, and people just don't give a rip. I had a young man that I baptized about 6 or 7 years ago. I also pastor a church, and I won't mention his name because his name is somewhat known. And there were two gangs that were kind of having a turf war, and he was there, and he tried to break it up, tried to do the right thing and break it up. And he got shot and killed. Also got to do his funeral. And but we live at a time now, it seems that we just don't care anymore about what other people think. And it's so easy. I blame social media a lot. It seems to me like it's so easy to sit, and we've become so conditioned to ripping people apart behind a computer screen. I really appreciate what you said, because in the old days, this is how we settled it. We settled it, and then when it was done, it was done.
Exactly.
And usually ended up friends.
And so friends, and that's how we grew up. Is for my generation, we fought.
Yep.
We didn't go get a gun or a knife to attack a person. We fought. You know, you're not gonna make you a punk if you get beat up. What's gonna make you a punk is if you're gonna take someone's life with a gun or a knife. And I put this on my Facebook post last week. There's no 401k. There's no raises in prison.
Right.
You get three hots in the cot. And I think that we also, to blame, besides Facebook and social media, we have to blame Hollywood and video games.
And that's where I was going with it.
We have to blame that too. I mean,
we've conditioned violence to the point that it's acceptable.
Yes, it's acceptable because, especially with our younger youth, this generation, they see the Call of Duties,
Right.
the Mortal Kombats. They see those games.
And they play live.
Exactly.
Okay?
They play live.
And stuff like that. And so I feel like there is some desensitivity
Yes.
to it.
I got Call of Duty 1, 2, 3.
I really don't want to touch on this subject because it's real touchy, but I will say this. You can't blame nobody. I mean, America, the world was built on violence. You know what I mean? So let's just be real. Violence always existed.
Yeah.
Always existed. I mean, the Romans, they had slaves, you know what I mean, and fought these slaves, turned them into gladiators or whatever, and fought in these arenas. You know, this is what violence always been. It's part of the world. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to necessarily blame video games. You got to be smart enough to know a video game is a video game.
Right.
But
a
how
movie
many
is
of
a
the parents,
movie.
How many
You know what I
parents use the
mean?
video game for babysitter?
There's
I
a
mean,
lot.
if you teach the kids the
Actually,
difference.
Overall, statistically, we're living in one of the safest periods of time human beings have ever lived in. So, you can find the blame wherever you want. But more people are more safe and living longer than in any other time in our history.
Yeah. So as Terrence was saying, or as Patty Murphy was saying, now, we did grow up in a time where we used our hands, but we also grew up in a time in the 90s where shootings were at an all-time high.
Yeah.
If you look at the government FBI stats right now, gun violence is down over 50%. Most murders are down over 50% as well. So some of it is just blamed, hyped up by media, to make it seem worse than it is.
Yeah.
Yes, this was a tragic weekend, but there are many more weekends of this year left, and the violence that we see, it can't always just be put under one banner like I was talking to earlier. Like, it may be gangs, it may be relationship problems.
We don't
It may
know
just be
all of
somebody
it.
on pills. It may just been somebody like screw it. We got to take all these things into account. And like I said, you just never know. It does come down to choices.
Well,
Correct.
someone said, "Who has a degree in journalism?" Was that you? Okay. What is it that sells?
Malcolm X said this: the media controls the minds, which controls the masses. And it's true.
That is true.
And you lead with the blood.
Well, yeah, the school bus, the school bus that makes it to school does not make the news.
Right. Exactly.
So,
I mean, there are some things that we don't see. Like Tone said, there's violence all over the world. I mean, there's kids getting slaughtered in Africa, and we never hear about that.
Right.
I know we're supposed to take a
Constantly.
commercial break right now, but we're not going to. Okay, so they can just deal with that later. So I think too sometimes that is it sometimes media. Okay, I've done media all my life. Okay, really, and I started here in '84. Media will take a story and they will run with it.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, I'm not going to lie to you. Sadly, the worst of the worst seems to feed their, we have to be the first to report this horrific death and murder. Blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I get so irritated. And the other thing that makes me mad is I don't care if it's a news company. I don't like it when it's a news company or even a law enforcement group when they take a very small amount of information. And they take just this little bit of information that's all they really want you to know right now. Okay, there's going to be a whole lot more that's going to be coming later as more time comes out and we find out more information. But I think that it's wrong to put out this horrible headline and then everybody goes to that station's Facebook or website and they watch the video or they tune in tonight at 10 o'clock. And they tune in tonight at 10 o'clock and see this horrific news story. Another one dead. Really? So I do, sitting here, I can understand the guns, the knives, and all the horrible things. You can kill somebody with your car. I mean, I agree. There is just about anything under the sun that you could think of that could cause bodily harm and or death to somebody. But I think as horrific as this weekend was, I also have to agree with what you said about a lot of times it is the media. When we try to do community shows, when we try to do good things for the community, I promise you, they don't get the media that they deserve.
You don't get that media coverage. And
exactly.
I think that is very sad that the media coverage do not cover local events. I know Antar's been doing his local events and everything else, because I watch his Facebook and everything else. They don't cover things that we do for our community.
Right.
Well, and I think that is because like you said, it is something horrific. They run with it.
Controversy sells.
Sales.
Controversy
Controversy
sells.
It leads.
Yeah, controversy
Controversy
sells.
brings cash.
It brings ratings.
Controversy
Right.
brings
You
cash.
can't sell peace.
That's right.
You know, you can't sell peace.
But
You know what I mean?
You know, and I'm not necessarily going to say that the news does not promote the good things. I'm going to actually say that most of the times it's more of a schematics things. People don't know how to submit that information to the news. People don't know the right contacts to say, hey, we're doing a community event. I need channel 10 or channel 12 or Real People, Real Lives to broadcast this community event. So with that piece of information missing, it's like if everybody calls K Channel 12 to report the murder that happened, let's just say off the 13th, but no one calls them, the community side of it, to
Thank you.
report at least 30 days in advance. We got a community event going on, and this is good for the community. Please be there. Well, then you can't really blame, you know,
Right.
Kate Channel.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is
I
that
learned
the
it the hard way.
experience, though?
I learned this the hard way.
Yep.
That there is a deadline. I did in my
Believe me,
very
I
first
know.
event by myself, and when I contacted them, that's when I learned that when it comes to community events, there are deadlines.
Yeah.
There are.
You know, I
You
called
know-
Friday. I'm dressed up like Ben Franklin flying kites with whoever else shows up at the park with me. And one of the three was there. I called all three of them, and Channel 3
Yes,
And it-
showed up and covered it.
If
I
it's
mean,
a
so
light news
they
story,
have
if
to
it's,
know
a
you're
light,
there.
if it's a light news day, then they love
Yes.
to get a
So-
good news story.
And depending on who you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Depending,
Right.
I'm gonna be so honest. Depending on who you know,
Correct.
who your connections are, is going to depend on how quickly you can get on that show, or can they get you squeezed in, or because I mean, I'm gonna be honest. There has been times in which, let's just say, we submitted something. This is just an example through a newspaper, and we don't hear nothing back. However, I could pick up a journalist that I know directly from that newspaper, not even send him an official copy, email him, and he'll be like, hey, Ty, what's going on? Send it to me and I'll run it in the
Yeah.
morning. So sometimes it's all about,
About who you know.
it's all about,
It's not about what you know, it's about who you
it's
know.
about who
Well,
you know.
and part of that, and you touched on it as well, is to understand the procedures that are in place
Right.
for those types of things. Because
Type
I've
sensitive.
done like 9
Yeah, tell me about that.
press releases and get 9 responses. So a lot of times it depends on how you do those press releases as well. So
Side door.
I remember my community event. I got robbed on my community event that I do for the community. Like I was in Plainview that time. And I got all the news people called me, wanted to interview me about my event that got robbed, but they didn't want to come. Well, actually, I ain't gonna lie. I told them not to come because I didn't want them to see people that were in need. And so I don't want to glorify all that because they're already in trouble,
Right.
You know. So I didn't want them to come, but then they were trying to come when my event got robbed, and I was like, I don't glorify those kind of things. I don't like attention, and half of you guys that know me know all the things that I do here in the community. I don't like attention.
Right.
I focus on the community, and that's it.
Well, you know, when we talk about the media, yeah, I'm sorry, it is true that your horrible stories do create the feeding frenzy, and it does a lot of times help boost their ratings, and that's what they're going to sell their ad space on based on ratings.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and you're right, too, Ty. If you do have an event, most of the folks that I know here at any radio or TV station, if you get with them early enough, and I say this all the time,
Yep.
if you know, get them everything 30 days out, check back in about 15 days, check back week of event, okay? Don't just go, I got it in 30 days, hey, because so much can happen in 30 days. We have that happen a lot. And yeah, there's going to be certain times, depending on the situation or the deal, that you have to have permission in advance, okay? When we go to
Right.
when we go to Garden City to go shoot or whatever, I mean, if we have to go into a courthouse situation, for example, I know that I have to contact court services. I have to have permission from the judge a lot of times to even be allowed to set up a Facebook Live feed in a courtroom. That's not an easy venture to do. In recent, just last week, we were in Garden City.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, well,
I know.
my other TV friends thought that, you know, because we had just been on the same court case maybe a month ago, that they did not need to call again. And you have to do this. I mean, I do this too. You know, I want my cameras in that courtroom because this is a huge case. It's the Shauna Banda case. has to do with using cannabis to stay alive, and her book is Live Free or Die. And I'm not going to not have my cameras in that courtroom, so I do make sure I contact the court support folks there in the courthouse, and then a lot of times they have to go literally leave their office and go to that same judge and say, hey, this is so and so, this is so and so, this is so and so, and these are the people that want to have cameras in the courtroom. Courtrooms are very limited in space, and there's very few. I mean, there may be the jury trial starts in June 26th. We know that there's going to be national and possible international media there during that time. And the last thing I want to do is get kicked out because I didn't call and take care of what I needed to take care of. So if you do have an event or you do need to set up cameras, call, email, do everything that you can, But one thing I don't suggest doing, and I've seen people try to do this, and it doesn't work, and it could very well get you from ever being on their networks again, and it could also get you blocked from commenting on their Facebook pages, their stories, and stuff like that. If you disagree with something on, whether it's KSN, KWIJ, whatever, CNN, I know that sometimes it's easy to let our emotions get the best of us. But if you go to a station's Facebook and you are so mean to them and to the people that wrote the story or to the people that are in the story, and you don't give up. In other words, you post 20,000 times, that you're mad or it's not gonna help you in the long run. So I think sometimes people forget that. I've seen it happen here in town. I don't want to see it again, because even though some of those people were mad at the time, they may have spoke and typed the wrong things, and said the wrong things, done the wrong things. But if you're not careful about it, you could be hurting so many people, and including yourselves, when you do want them there, and you do need them to be there. So the other thing I just want to say real quick was, every one of you in the room has already done one thing, 20 things, and some of you hundreds and thousands of things to show that you care about your communities and to show that you want to do something to change this. Can everybody agree that we want to change this?
Yes.
Okay, can everybody agree that it's not going to be one thing that causes this? It's not. It's not just guns. It's not just media. I don't think that there's any one thing, one entity, anything that we can blame.
I know that.
Right, I think we missed a couple of big names like substance abuse.
You can't blame that man.
Substance abuse.
I'm going to say it's
You can't blame that
man.
man.
The society that is around us is the cause of what is going on.
Voted for him. Can't blame me.
Lack of education, substance abuse. There are a lot of things before
you work
it gets to the media.
I know. And even parenting even goes only so far.
I didn't vote for
But your
Well, it's not even
environment.
that. Is everybody always thinking, I'm speaking, I guess, because I'm a parent, with the kid with the behavioral disorder. So everybody always think that, because you're the parent, that this is going to be under control and that it should be this way or one way. And kids are nothing but little people with their own mind and their own thoughts and their own feelings.
Yeah.
And one day that 5-year-old is going to be a 25-year-old, and if that 25-year-old is sitting in prison, then once again it's going to go back to, what was the parents doing? Well, truth be told, the parents could have did everything absolutely right. And that 25-year-old who still has their own thoughts, their own minds, are still going to make them choices to do what they want to do.
I'm talking about my drug dealer parents, I mean, if you're raised in a drug home, what you gonna do?
You want to sell drugs.
Well, what you do,
saying.
what you know.
Well, I mean, and that still goes
that's
back
the environment
to,
I was raised in.
right,
You know
and
what I'm
that still
saying?
goes back to, once again, a mental thing. I was raised in the hood too. In fact, right off of 9th and Grove for basically all of my childhood life. I got a dad who's on drugs and he's nowhere in sight, and my mom did everything she could, worked 3 jobs, raising 3 girls by herself, and she did it. She did it when, I don't know how she did it, okay? I'm like, my 4 is driving me crazy, so I don't know how she did it. But she did it, and I had the choice of if I wanted the street life or if I wanted more than myself for the street life.
Back to choice.
Well, I recognized at an early age that everybody who was associated in my street life is whether dead or going to jail. Guess what? I pick option number B. I will get up, I will go get a job, I will get educated. We're not going to talk on that this time because it ain't help. But it kept me out of prison. So
Right.
that's the
But
least
people
good thing
judge
about
kids
it. You
that
know,
are in that environment.
Yeah.
and they do.
Doors weren't open to me.
I had an
I know.
I had to
officer.
kick them.
Yeah,
That's
and
something too. I would love for you to come out real quick on that one too, but stop judging. I'm so sick
Yeah.
of this.
Yes.
I am so
Yeah.
sick of judging. It's beyond ridiculous.
I
This
whooped
is-
my son in school, and the principal let me in the bathroom. I whooped my and I'm not joking.
Hey,
And shout out to the school because the school knows exactly who you are. My son, like I said, when it comes to the behavioral issues, and some of it is mental, you can't control. Some of it you can control. So when I already tell you the day before, if I got to come back because you up in ISIS in school suspension, acting a fool. And I get this call from the principal saying, "Oh yeah, he's up in ISIS acting a fool." Well, guess what? I told you what I'm gonna do. I told him what I'm gonna do, and you know what I did? I was up at my son's school in less than 3 minutes because we're right around the corner. Went to the principal's office. Let's go up to ISIS. He started crying as soon as he seen me.
Because
No,
he knew.
don't cry now.
He knew.
Let's go to the bathroom. And the principal was like, "You can use this one right here." Because even they need to get adjusted too. Sometimes a kid needs discipline. I had an officer come
Exactly.
to my house one time and was like, "Ma'am, do you want to whoop him?" I told him, "I'm not
'Cause they
going to
will
whoop
hold
him
him.
now because I'm mad.
Right.
And I don't like to whoop him when I'm mad. I'm going to calm down first, but then I'm going to whoop him." And then, the officer told me, he a lot of parents have that confused over when to give discipline and when not to give discipline. You have to discipline your child. Little kids turn into just big adults who just do big things.
There's this
Right.
big confusion with this word discipline, okay? Discipline comes in many different forms. And so then they're trying to say, oh, well, 1, 2, 3 time out is discipline. No. Okay.
Well, it can be.
It can be,
I-
but I don't know how effective it is. We are seeing the effects of that 1, 2, 3
My
time
kids
out.
hated the corner. I used to do the corner with my kids, and you would
My
stand
jacket
here
over
about
there.
like 10 minutes like this,
Nice
and then we
green
get to the
jacket.
fact that I'd be like, "No, I'm done. I won't do it no more." You didn't even have to get a spanking. You didn't even have to get a beating. In fact, it got to the point I could give you that look.
Do you know that the police will come to your house and hold your child for you so you can spank it?
Yes,
I
they
did
will.
not know that.
I had an officer, in fact, ask me if I wanted to whoop my kid in front of him because my little boy was on his nerve, just so he could go back and tell the school that I done whooped this little boy and I ain't did nothing wrong. I'm going to tell you right now, from a criminal law standpoint of view, in the state of Kansas, and I'm looking right at the cameras on this, it is not against the law to spank your kids. I will repeat that again. In the state of Kansas, it is not against the law to spank your kids. There is a difference between spanking and abusing. A Welch mark from a spanking is a spanking. Big bruises from you stumping and hitting and beating your kids with bats or cutting off airways is kid brutality. That is illegal. If your kid comes home from running amok or suspended from school from doing whatever, mine tore up a classroom one day, then ran from security, then locked them out of school,
Oh,
and you think you're not going to come home and get a whooping.
exactly.
As soon as the police pulled up at my door, I have my criminal law book right there on the chapter that said, it is not illegal in the state of Kansas to whoop your kids, and my kid will get a whooping as soon as I'm calmed down.
There you go. God.
And I'm the same way. I don't spank when I'm angry because you don't want to act
Because
out
you don't
and
wanna
you don't want them
you
to
don't wanna
associate
hurt
it with emotions.
Exactly.
You want them to associate it with
I
consequences.
whooped mine 2 days later.
We raised,
Just about to get
I
into
raised
it.
2 kids. They're both grown now, and sometimes the timeouts work.
Yeah,
It depends on the kid.
It
A lot of
really
times
does.
It depends on the kid, and parents need to understand their kids and go with it from there. Now, I like to come back full circle in regards to the violence, though. I would say this: anybody that's there, I think there are reasons. I worked in journalism for a while. My daughter's a journalism professor, and they teach you if it bleeds, it leads. And she's again, that's what
Right.
she teaches college kids. Okay, that's just the way it is. But that all said, anyone that doesn't get, I hope I can say this, pissed off about the fact that families lost children or that families are injured. Well, I'm talking about this weekend.
Right.
For whatever reason,
I agree.
we're sick if we don't care about families that have been impacted by violence. To quote, I say this in church a lot of times, or when I'm speaking places. To quote the prophet Rodney King, can't we all just get along? Apparently we're having trouble with that nowadays. But there's really a way that we can come along, whether we're white or black or red or yellow or whatever, Republican or Democrat. We need to find ways that we can come together and be there for, especially, I think, for me, my heart's in the inner city and the urban environments, because I've just seen and I know. I grew up in a family without a mother, without a father. I was homeless when I was 15, living at a YMCA before I knew I know that whole circle of life. And we can make choices. I don't know how I finished high school, much less went and graduated from college. I don't know how I did it outside the grace of God and His ability to help me. But the bottom line, if we can't care, for some kid, wherever, children just, it tears me up because they're so innocent. And I really question sometimes by our actions if we really care sometimes.
I think that kind of brings back around that circle of what we was talking about when it comes to the media. And I wanted to say this earlier. There's a lot of stigma when it comes down to the media. And everything is being blamed, the shootings, all of this, everything's being blamed on the media. Let's be honest. The media will not have the story without the people.
That's right.
And even though they may blow it up, exaggerate a lot of things, it draws the attention to some things that it needs to be drawn to. If the media didn't report on the 5 killings we had, would any of us be at this table right now?
No.
Speaking about the community violence. So the media plays both ways. It plays for the good and for the bad.
Right here, this conversation
Right.
is also the media. And I think you nailed it with the human behavior thing. For the likes of me, if it's not that I'm waiting for an accident, why am I watching NASCAR?
Right.
I mean, is it where they go around in a circle?
They're making the left
So
turn.
this is the human
They're making
behavior.
another left turn. What they gonna do next?
Left turn.
And I made a comment. It was jokingly serious when I said I blamed Donald Trump. Okay, I always blame him for something. Okay, but
Everyone else in America.
but
Not
wait a
everyone.
minute. And this is why I speak so highly on this, and this is very serious. When you take what we just said about media, when you take what was said about the lack of empathy,
Right.
then you throw it on to who's supposed to be one of the most powerful beings in America, who sit there and make fun of minorities, women, kids with disabilities, people who's fled from their country out of danger, and all of this is being publicized on media. You making fun of little handicapped kids.
Yeah.
And this is who is supposed to be in charge of our country. So and just think about it, enough people voted for him, enough people agreed with the way that he
I don't know how that
acted.
happened.
I don't know if
We know how that
that's
happened. We know how that
I
happened.
don't-
The same way Bush got in at the second
that's
time.
not
We know how that
necessarily
happened.
Yeah.
Mike, you had
think
us until
people
you said we
voted
had to
for
get
him.
along with Republicans.
You see,
And I would challenge that attitude. As far as to the place we're at.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
people were led to lack of options.
right. And then
Yeah.
people look at Donald Trump, and now it's an even greater divide, because it's now, do you believe in this clown, or do you or do you not believe in him? And it's drawing a rift even more instead of bringing us together from the one person who should do that.
I want to say that
Somebody's
his
here.
campaign slogan is "Make America Great Again." What he has done in his first 100+ days has made America hate.
Has
again.
America ever been great? Raise your hand
No.
if you think America
No.
has ever been great.
America's never been great.
Anybody?
I think America's been great.
Yeah, I do
think
too.
America
I
is
do too.
great.
I think,
I mean,
I
I
think
think
America's been great.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was built. I mean, I know what it was built on. You know what I mean? Let
Right.
me tell you something. I voted for Trump. You know what I'm saying? I think people done got too sensitive. You know what I'm saying? I respect the fact that man speak on what he feel, man. I respect the fact that he tell it like it is and don't sugarcoat nothing. I don't want nobody leading me that's fake.
But,
Don't be fake
but-
with me. Don't pretend to like me when you don't really like me. Let me know you hate me. Don't smile like you my friend and shake my hand.
Right.
Let me know you really hate me. And y'all say he ain't did nothing.
He did a lot.
He did a lot. Regardless, you know what I mean? Syria, they tried to blame him for bombing. It should have been done 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They've been in turmoil this whole time. This ain't just happened. This ain't just been exposed. He did what he was supposed to do. As far as anything else you want to talk about, you know what I mean? I can get real touchy. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with the wall. I think the wall should be built. Is it going to really stop anything? No, it may not.
So what would be the point of spending billions of taxpayers' money?
Because he's still trying. He's trying to eliminate a problem, and the only problem is illegal anything. Illegal anything, and I understand that because I was in the system. You know what I'm saying?
At the point then he's proven to have broken the law.
No, that's something totally different.
That.
Yeah, that's something totally different. But with me being in the system, you know what I'm saying? Me being of a brown skin and a Mexican, you know what I'm saying? That's illegal. You know, commits a crime, and me. Of my skin color, I get hit with my time because they're under a different jurisdiction. They get released back over there and then sneak right back over here and do the same thing again. No, that's what I look. It's blind justice if that's what you want to call it. Then that's what it's going to be. Right. But when I'm in the system and I see that happening, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm American. I'm here, and I'm getting punished for my crime. You over here illegally, and you're not getting punished for your crime. You getting let loose to come back and do it again? Nah.
See, I had a lot of people that are in the prison system and have gotten in or out of the prison system, and I have to tell you, I've heard that. I've heard that exact same
because it's
thing.
real.
You know, come on in, guys. We're just going to keep it going. We do need to take a quick break, okay? If everybody's okay with that, and then I'd like to come back because we're far from done. We do want to talk about Juneteenth, and then, man, if you guys could just stay tuned for a little bit because I'm not done with you guys either. You guys are fantastic.
All right.
Wow. Okay, we'll be right back with more Real People, Real Life.